So a class act, a hard worker, and an encourager, and a woman who knew her baseball was Linda Lowe, the former city clerk of Gloucester, has passed away at the age of 72. The news came that she had passed away earlier in February. And while it is immensely saddening and a heavy heart kind of looms on all of those that knew her, there's also been just an abundance of encouragement and just I think great memories that people are bringing to about her, of just how Linda really impacted every single person that she met, whether it was giving people just advice for people who are aspiring to be attorneys, for those who are interested in municipal policy and how that all worked, but then also looking at, just being a kind friend, somebody who could, at the same time that she was talking about how to make the processes of city work more efficient and more effective here in the city, she could also talk about baseball and her love of the Boston Red Sox and how they are far superior than the New York Yankees. And so yesterday I was given the great opportunity to speak with some of her friends, just here in the city, those that she worked with and those that she knew over her years, both as as an adult and also as a child, and those who just kind of spoke about her being their first babysitter and what that was like, and then to later on work with her. Or Meredith Fines talking about, as she made that shift from journalism to becoming an attorney, kind of what that was like for her and how Linda really walked alongside her in that process. And so just really an encouragement to just hear all these really wonderful things about Linda and the impact that she had on every single person that she met here in the city. So even former mayor Bruce Toby really spoke about, he was on the panel of people who were interviewing for general counsel, and he said that when Linda walked through the door, she blew him away. And just, he went on to work with her for quite a long time, and he said from the moment that they met to their last kind of hours of working together in a professional way, just how consistent she was in that, and how she was always there even when they had to deal with really difficult things here in the city. She was always there. She was always professional, extremely intelligent, and just somebody who was always there to lend a helping hand.
Yeah, Linda was the central nervous system of City Hall for a long, long time, so she will be missed. Taylor, you have some new stuff on the affordable housing side of things.
Yeah, so I've talked on 1623 before about the planning board's kind of pursuit of making housing affordable here in the city for Gloucester residents. So thinking about how Gloucester is lumped into about 110 communities that have an area median income, and how the differencing between the area median income for those 110 municipalities versus Gloucester specifically, and how Gloucester has a much lower one. And so how can the city shift and change to make it so that people who want to live here, who want to stay here, or who want their grandchildren to live here can afford to, as we think about, what it costs to live here versus, who is living here in general, trying to continue to live here. And so they've been working on a kind of 5 different objectives of ways to do that. And the first one is amendments to inclusionary zoning ordinances. And they've been working for a long time on this. And there's a lot of nitty gritty, like very detailed explanations of how that works and what it looks like. But they had a public hearing last week to kind of hear from the community, and there was not a single voice in opposition. Now, maybe there are people who weren't at the meeting or who didn't speak up, but for all those who did speak up, it was either just community members, representatives from local organizations, city councilors, all just were so blown away, not only by kind of what the planning board had presented, but also just their attention to detail and how they went about the process, knowing that they really need to focus on the individuals that are being affected, not just the broader scheme of this. And so really, I think harnessing in to take that bigger perspective was really their goal. And according to a lot of people who were on that public hearing, they achieved that. Now, the planning board voted to recommend to the city council that they adopt the amendments. So this has gone forward through the planning board, and now it's going to be presented in front of the city council for further conversation and vetting.
Gotcha.
Very exciting. Good progress there.
Yeah, that's exciting. What is the latest with the shooting range over in West Gloucester?
Yeah, so lots of noise. Both, I think, figuratively at the shooting range, but also by the residents who are very up in arms about what's been going on So since the public hearing happened about a month ago now, every single city council meeting during oral communications, residents who are in opposition to the West Gloucester firing range being in use by the Gloucester Police Department, or anybody for that matter, have come and spoken in opposition, really taking up quite a lot of time from the city council meetings, making it so that their meetings are going longer and longer. Now, at this particular city council meeting that happened on Tuesday, we were anticipating to hear an update from Karen Carroll about the COVID update in the city, and also Carl Ellis kind of talk about where they are with the ice rink over at Stage 4 Park. Both of those things actually got put on hold because the amount of members of the public who came to speak in either opposition to the firing range, to the traffic analysis that was done by Doran Whittier of the new combined elementary school over at Webster Street, or the relocation of Mados Field. So there's a lot of community engagement, which is really encouraging to see just how many people are logging on to these meetings. Now, Melissa Cox asked if Karen Carroll and Carl S. could come back, because she noted that, you know, it is their responsibility and their job as city councilors to listen to the community and talk and figure out what the best next steps are for these conversations. You know, they don't need to be sitting through that. So those two individuals will be coming back to city council to present their findings later on about both COVID and the street hockey. But about an hour and a half, 45 minutes of community engagement happened on Tuesday. Now what's next, right? These people can keep coming back and to city council meetings and having this conversation, but what are the tangible steps going forward? I think that's the big question, right? When we ask about what does civic engagement look like here in the city? And so the city's Ordinance and Administration Standing Committee will be meeting on Monday. So mark your calendars. Monday, they're going to be meeting to talk about what it would look like to shorten the time in which the Gloucester Police Department is allowed to shoot in the range. So they're looking to make a compromise. They're not looking to totally nix what's going on over there, but it is kind of a step in the process of trying to meet the needs of both the residents and the police department. And the police, and I think it's a good thing to know, is the police department has put on their website kind of Chief Ed Conley answering a lot of concerns and questions that have been raised over the past year. There's a link over at gloucesterpd.com that can be found at.
Gotcha. And as we do this interview, it is almost lunchtime, Taylor, and I am in the mood for sushi.
Oh, when are we not in the mood for sushi?
Truth, yeah.
You know, so Song Lee is very familiar with this city. Here in Gloucester, he came what he thought would just be a summer here working as a local chef alongside a restaurant. And little did he know that he'd be living here and really changing the game of what it looks like to have quality sushi here in the city. So in that same summer, he met his wife. They got married and traveled and found themselves here. But his journey for making sushi is much longer than that. Song has been working 20 years to master the art of creating quality sushi that he is proud of and that people can enjoy. And now people in Gloucester and Cape Ann can enjoy it too. So over at Savor Wine and Cheese, Song Lee has opened up Sushi Song Lee in the back of Savor, and he runs from 5 to 8 p.m. Thursdays through Sundays with a limit of 24 omakase orders per night. So very limited boxes, but each one packs a punch of just flavor and freshness. Paul Bilodeau, our photographer, and myself were able to kind of follow Song around for an afternoon and see him not only create each box and what the level of detail and time and effort and secrets go into it, because there's a lot that he really takes pride in, you know, things that he has learned how to tweak and change over the time, but also the collaboration that has ensued throughout the city to make his boxes as fresh as possible. So he's working with local fishermen to get the freshest tuna off the dock, working with Intershell to to get the fish or the different types of seafood that you might not be able to find here in the harbor of Gloucester. And then also, working for the people over at Savor to find that perfect pairing of sake to go with, your box of either nigiri or, maki rolls. And so really cool stuff. He's been working in New York and New Jersey, in Boston, and now he's in Gloucester, and he's really, when we had the opportunity to speak, he just spoke very highly of the city and how excited he is to really be in a place where everyone values quality and values respecting the things that they're working with. So like respecting each other, but also respecting the fish and respecting the ways in which they're processing and figuring out how to make it as fresh as possible. So more of that is on our website. You can find out more about kind of how he came to Gloucester and what it looks like on a day-to-day for him, but also beware for our Cape Ann magazine, where we'll be kind of featuring what it looks like for him to be collaborating with different people here in the city and how that looks, you know, both for the fish in the sea, but also the people on land, and how those two come to make some of the most delicious meals here in Gloucester.
Very cool. I can't wait to get in a shoving match for one of those 24 boxes over at Savor Wine.
Let's go right now.
Great work, Taylor. We'll see you next week.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.